Hi, and thanks for joining the 1 in 36 Makes I'm so excited to have Dina Farmer here with me. And we are going to do this presentation a little bit ahead of time so that we can make sure to have any questions that you might have. I'll let you guys know and you can send them in, and then I can get them to Dina and we can maybe do a little comment section with the question and answers. But thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited, Sarah. Thank you so much for inviting me to be a guest again. It's my second year in a row, I think. So,
Yes, yes, exactly. I mean, what an honor and a thrill to bring such amazing people information together to really share how to better accommodate autistics in our community, how to, hear their voices and know what they need and how to better just listen, right? We learn how to be better listeners in this process. We really want to talk today about Lilia Magnolia Travel. Dina is a travel consultant. She helps families with individuals on the autism spectrum and really just helps accommodate those autistic individuals in their family travel needs. So she has a little visitor with her today. So if you hear that sweet little voice, just know that, we do this all inclusive, families included. And sometimes that means tending to the needs of our little ones. So thank you once again. We have some questions lined up, but first I'm going to let Dina just kind of give a little introduction and tell you, why she's here today.
well, thank you, Sarah, for having me again on this. It's been so exciting. I'm Dina Farmer. I'm an owner of Lily and Magnolia Travel, which is a full service travel agency. I help families with autistic loved ones travel the world. But the biggest things, at least in the revenge travel, has been cruises and theme parks, which I was not expecting either of those to be in such high demand, but I guess those are fairly easy to book and fairly easy to get to, and both are very predictable and safe, which leads me to believe that's the reason why they've been in such demand, at least in my business. I'm not sure about other travel advisors, but for me. It's been really amazing. So oh my gosh, I've been in business since 2018, and of course, with the wonderful world stoppage for almost 2 years, right? I think we kind
Crazy.
of started opening up in 2020. I think we fully opened up in 2022.
Why we really include our families to, just really let your loved ones be a part of things because not only, as you can see, I mean, we love to bring this information and the resources, but we're also coming out of our homes and out of our offices and now we have kind of this great new respect for everyone that's had to do that and a lot less well, no judgment here ever, but just grace, right? Grace and understanding that any second now DJ may walk in the door.
You
So
never
yeah,
know.
that's right. We do teaching now through our interviewing and everything, and just let it be known that this is what life looks like, and this is the best way to embrace it, is to just normalize exactly what it is. And so we've laid out just some questions for Dina about traveling. So I'm just going to kind of go over those and let her hit those home for you guys. So our number one is from Chat GPT questions. Thank you very much. Was what inspired you to become and travel consultant for autistic families and individuals?
So I know if you follow me at all on Instagram or or you've heard me on Sarah's podcast, you know that um, I had my own travel business before I decided to pivot. And the reason that I changed not the way I do business, but the people that I help in business is because my oldest son was diagnosed with autism right after I opened my business. And we're a military family, and I did notice, like, I wasn't like completely blind to my child. I did notice that like going on vacation could be often difficult. And my when my oldest son was diagnosed, that's when I decided to pivot because like I said, I noticed when we were traveling that sometimes things could be really tricky. And I know with children, period, travel is not easy. And I totally like fully understand that. But it just seemed like some things that could have been a little bit easier or the way he responded to things made it really challenging. And then we got the diagnosis. I didn't want to stop traveling because I grew up in the military and I've embraced like moving from place to place and getting used to all those things. I was born in Turkey. He is right. At a military base. I've lived all over the world. And as it got harder to yeah, pivot after he got diagnosed because I didn't want to give up traveling and experience the world with my children because I wanted to give them the world too and give them similar experiences and better experiences that I had. But I noticed that there wasn't a whole lot out there for people with autism or other cognitive disabilities. It was slowly starting to emerge, and the International Board of Credentialing and Continuing Education had just, I mean, they've been around for a bit, but they just hit my radar. And I felt like they started picking up momentum when 2020 hit. And then I got my certification and the world closed.
Oh, goodness, right. How has your experience with autistic individuals informed the way you approach planning trips for clients?
Oh, so that's been a big thing of having a conversation. Because sometimes with some clients, you can just email back and forth and then like, I want this is my budget, this is where I want to go, boom, 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 done. But with families that have autism or some other kind of cognitive disability, it's really a lot of pre-planning and having conversations about what are your child's needs, what is okay to do on vacation. I had somebody very recently talk to me about like all the foods that their child could eat and how important it is to make sure that there are restaurants in that area. Like, because for my youngest son, he only eats cheese quesadillas and chicken nuggets. So like making sure that if we're going to, I love to say Timbuktu, I don't know why, but like going there, for example, like do they have quesadilla and chicken nuggets? Maybe, maybe not. And how do we pack food in their luggage so that they're able to take those things to Timbuktu so their child will eat. And that I feel like it's a lot of conversations about meeting needs and knowing what those needs are so that I don't send you somewhere and then you get there and you're frustrated because you're not able to do all these things. Or I have another family we are doing a lot of pre-planning for their daughter to even get on the airplane, which can be a very, very scary experience because she did do it once and then it was a disaster and they don't ever want to fly again. And now she's like, I really want to go to Japan. I really want to go to Japan, but we can't take a boat to Japan. So we've got to get on an airplane. And we have been talking a lot about pre-planning.
Yeah. And there's great resources that you can find nowadays, like social stories that are really, really helpful. I was going to travel just this last June. It didn't work out. It wasn't, it didn't work out, but pre-planning it, I got in touch with the airport. I let them know that myself and my daughter are autistic and needed to have accommodations available to both of us. And the airport got right back to me and said, yes, this is who you can get a hold of. Here's where you can get a lanyard to wear that will also display to the other members and staff that you do have an intellectual disability or that you might need more accommodations. And, it's as we know, the spectrum is so broad and so far that because we might see someone that needs heavy, accommodations or really needs support. There might be someone that doesn't seem that they need support, but then maybe the sounds of the air compression or the anything like that could really overwhelm someone. So making sure that we know all of the specific needs before we leave to go on any kinds of vacations. And I love I remember in my interview with you, you had given really, really great advice, and that was to start small. to start small in your hometown. Book a hotel, go there, go to your airport, walk around. There's ideas where you can kind of get ready to do these things.
Oh my God. And it's so funny. I'm literally texting one of my best friends because I've been on a cruise before, but it's been a really long time. Like my oldest son was 10 months old. That was the last time I went on a cruise. And I was just like, I just feel a lot of anxiety about going on a cruise. My friend was like, you're always telling me to start small. Why don't you start on a 2 to 3 or a 3 day cruise? And I'm like, oh my gosh, duh. And I could go out of New Orleans because I'm really close to there. Oh, he wants, oh, I'm not going to show you as a baby right now. He was like, let me show everybody what it looked like as a baby.
Oh, that's cute. Well, we would love to see another time, I promise.
You were. He's obsessed with babies too. But I think that's the big thing is like starting small. Like, so even with this cruise, like just take a 2 to 3 day cruise. My nearest port is New Orleans. That's a 3 hour drive for me, as opposed to going all the way down to Port Canaveral, which is 8, 7.5 hours. So it's a short drive to get to New Orleans and then a short cruise, down to Mexico.
Yeah, and like you said, to just kind of practice and be able to, train, if you will, to go on the bigger trips. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What challenges have you faced in helping families plan vacations that are tailored to their needs and interests?
Uh, I think the biggest ones have been tourism suppliers not being accommodating.
Hmm.
Or even so some places like uh all-inclusive resorts can be really tricky sometimes because they say that they have services on site and then they don't actually have services on site. Like they say, oh, we've got babysitters that can accommodate you, they can stay in your room, and then you get there and there's no babysitters. And I've experienced that over and over. Or, oh, we can accommodate a child that's not potty trained to be in the kids club, and then they get there and they don't accommodate. And I'm like, you got to be factual and truthful with that. And it's never the client that I ever have an issue with. Like, it's always the accommodations not being as supportive as they say they're going to be. And that's my biggest frustration because I say I'm going to help you and offer the world to you, and then I can't do it. It's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
And there's only so much power you have on your end to not make,
Yeah.
to have the hotel or whatever fulfill their obligations of accommodations. That's for sure. Are there specific ones that you have created relationships with that you trust more than others at this point?
Um, yeah, I really like Royal Caribbean.
That's great.
And I know we've talked about cruises, but I feel like every time I've sent clients on that ship, oh, and Disney Cruise Line, both of those have been super accommodating and very okay with, having siblings that are not the same age in the kids club or having an untoilet trained child be in the kids club and just simply calling the parents when that child needs to get changed rather than saying, oh, they can't come in here because it's like, against our policies. But making those accommodations so those families can have fun at like equally as everybody else it's so simple and it's really not hurting anybody to make that accommodation. And all the cruise ships have those bands to protect you so they can call you and your child is safe in those kids clubs. So I feel like those two have been the absolute best. But also partnering with Autism Travel, which is um, a part of the IBCCS, they informed me about all kinds of places that have become autism certified. It's amazing to see those places so that I can send my clients to those places that are actually working hard to support families with
Yeah.
autism because I want to help those places if they're helping us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what do you think what are there any common misconceptions about traveling with autistic people that you'd like to dispel?
I feel like it's like dispelling everything about like the identity of autistic people, right? Because people are like, oh, they're rigid or they have to stick to schedules or, X, Y, and Z. And I feel like it's the same thing. The whole thing that was it Carrie Margo that said that? Like once you met one person with autism, you met one person with autism. And it's the same thing with my clients. It's just like my my oldest son could go all day. He could have his day packed full of things and not get tired until the end of the day when his feet are like bleeding and blistering, and just he could go all day. And my youngest son is like one activity, I'm done.
Yeah.
you know. I was at Universal. We were at Universal. Me and my oldest son took a mother-son trip, and he
Oh.
could just go, 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 go all day. And at the end of the day, he's like, "My feet hurt. I want to go home." I was like, "But we've been walking all day. It's no wonder that your feet hurt, but you didn't want to take a break."
Oh,
Universal,
that's
buddy.
so great.
And I think that's the big thing is just assuming that they're all lumped in with one,
Yeah.
but it's not true. We're all individuals. So it's really I think that's the big thing. And it's possible. It is a 7 hour drive and it's possible to travel. And
Yeah.
there's not you don't have to necessarily stick to strict schedules because some people aren't like that. I know, I understand you don't like 7 hour drives.
I don't think any of us like 7 hour drives,
No,
buddy. We're all going
they're
to agree with
so
you on
far.
that one. That is so true. Our family, I grew up in close to northern Nevada, or excuse me, northern California, and we would travel to a lake there and go camping every year. And so that's kind of my family tradition. But now it's a 10-hour drive for our family to get from Salt Lake City to there. So we haven't done it in several years. And the same kind of thing. It's just it's a lot of effort. It's a lot of work when you're traveling with a child that needs more support. But it is possible, and especially for families out there that want to travel and that have that desire to see the world and to teach your children the cultures that are around. And I think it's a fabulous idea. I, wish I could do more of it, but it'll in the future, right? There's always
Yes. I was gonna say that I think that travel is travel no matter the distance. And I remind of other friends that too, that even if you're going on a weekend getaway, one friend texted me the other day and she's like, "Oh, she lives in South Dakota and she's just going to Nebraska." And I was like, "Don't say just. Like that's a vacation. It really is. It doesn't matter what it looks like because what's important to me is not what's important to you.
yeah,
Yeah, just go there. Just go there.
exactly.
What's words there?
Taking wise words. Children
Yeah.
always have the truth that just comes out in their innocence. Isn't that the truth? And they say, just do it, just go there, don't be afraid, just give it a chance. And the more you do it, and the easier it will become to find your own routines or your own ways to accommodate. So absolutely. Before we go, tell everyone where they can go to find you and make these travel arrangements for their families.
Yes, you can find me. I live on Instagram and now Threads. But I'm at Lily and Magnolia Travel, and then my website is www.lilyandmagnoliatravel.com.
Fantastic. Well, it's such a pleasure to get together with you again, Dina. I know you have a busy little family there, and we're just so glad that you could make time for us to share. These are just great opportunities for families to grow and help, their kid explore more than just their house and their neighborhood. So get out. Bye.
Thank you, Sarah.